Hi, I'm Granny Fisher, and today we're going to look at how to knead bread. Now, in the old days, people called a woman a lady if she was a woman of integrity or that they respected. Well, that name, that word, actually comes from the Old English, and it originally meant a kneader of bread, someone who kneads bread. So we're going to learn how to knead bread today. Okay, we're starting with a surface that's covered with flour. Now normally you wouldn't put this much flour down, but we're going to need a lot of flour into our dough. Here's my bread dough, which is already mixed up. Now I'm going to bring it in here. I use my hands for nearly everything when I'm making bread because my fingers can feel if there's a knot that needs crushing in the bread so it doesn't end up having lumps. Okay, and if you get too much dough on your fingers, you get flour on them. Don't go wash them off, just get flour on them and then roll it like that and it'll come right off. Okay, now when we first start, the dough is wet and thick and we just keep working more flour into it, just like that. Now what I'm using right here is all-purpose flour, but this dough has some whole wheat flour in it too, which reduces the impact, the negative impact of the sugars on your body. It gives you fiber. Okay, now I'm going to dip my hands in the flour and start pushing the dough. And if your dough starts sticking to the table, pull a little more flour under it. Flour is your defense against stickiness when you're kneading bread. Now you pull the dough towards you, push it away. Turn it a quarter, pull it towards you, push it away. Turn it a quarter, pull it towards you, push it away. And then every few times you pull you pull the flour in to add more flour to it. And you'll see I've got my jar of flour over here, so we will add more flour to it as we go along. Turn, push, turn, push, turn, push. Now I'm going to show you the whole process just in case you've never kneaded dough. And every once in a while I powder my hands so they won't stick. I'm showing you the whole process, and it usually takes 5 or 10 minutes to knead bread dough. We'll probably stop before we're entirely through, but this will show you how to do it. Now you can get your bread recipe from any one of a number of good books, or you can just go online and copy a recipe for free. Mine is a very simple recipe. The only essentials are plain flour, a little bit of salt, some liquid, which in the original recipe was milk, but I use water because milk has gotten kind of expensive, butter, and salt. Now this one also has flaxseed in it. It has some organic golden flaxseed, and it, like I said, has water instead of the milk, and I did put some whole wheat flour in. And instead of sugar, which the original recipe called for a 1/4 cup of sugar, I put dried sweet whey because sugar is not really very good for you. You could use honey if you wanted to, but the sweetness adds something to the flavor of the bread. You see how it's starting to become more firm and less sticky. Now I'm going to add some more flour to it. Just like that. It's no problem at all. And I don't measure. No, I don't. Especially, well, I measure the smaller ingredients, but the flour, you go more by feel than anything else. When the bread is the right texture, then you stop adding flour. But as a general rule, most people would add too little flour rather than too much because they don't want to take the time to work the flour in. But that's what gives your bread a good texture. Kneading bread is good therapy. It gives you that natural rhythm and that sense that you're making something really good for yourself and your family. You know what went into it. No GMOs, no pesticides, no bad stuff, no MSG. You just have the natural ingredients that you put in there yourself. And there's a connection to all those thousands of years of women who kneaded bread before you. Okay. Now see, as we start to get to the right texture, I'm going to get my bread bowl to put the dough in it. I'm going to ask my cameraman to hold the camera right there, steady. Just hold it right where it's at. Now here's my bread bowl, and I put a little olive oil in it. This keeps the dough from sticking to the bowl. I put the dough in there, and then I turn it over so it's greased on the top too. And that way, as it rises, it won't get hard and flaky. Now we just put it in a warm place to rise, and that's how you knead bread.